hello. I'm Paolo del Rosario. We're so excited to have you here on It's a Beautiful Day. Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
Hello there, beautiful people. I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Let us make this day a good one with some laughter, inspiration, and unstoppable energy.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Your mornings are always more fun with us. Join us in the next hour and a half for stories and conversations that matter. We're almost done with the week. Almost, because it's Thursday. Yeah. What diagnosis do you need today?
All right, sorry guys, kasi nakita namin yung suot ngayon ni Mo. Very professional. So sobrang professional. Parang doktor na siya.
But you just
welcome.
need a stethoscope and, the outfit's complete.
Thank you so
You're
much.
believable, yes.
Thank you.
Is she?
Yeah.
Did you trust her with your health?
Let's ask our viewers.
Well,
Do you guys think I look like a doctor?
No, it's not
Would
that
you
you
guys
look-
come to me?
No, you look like a doctor.
Maybe not.
Siya na yun. Siya na yun.
Maybe I'll just come to you
Okay.
for chica, but the medical advice.
What chica
probably not.
doctor would you...
I don't know. Well, some people
Sige,
go to
Anne,
their
if you
doctors.
ask me to cure you, bahala ka dyan. I won't cure you
No, I
then.
know
You would
some
gossip.
people. I know some people who would go to their doctors and the diagnosis or yung checkup sandali lang, and then there's more like chika. Look, kamusta yung
That sounds like
anak
a very
mo?
mom thing to do.
Baka it's just
Yeah.
Anne.
It's a very
you know
tita thing.
how the old doctors are. They like that. They're always like chica after the medical checkup. I don't know. It's like that with my doctor. And
So
I like
when Anne
it.
goes to the doctor, she's there all day making chica.
I like it because,
essentially.
I like that personal connection. I don't like it when I go to the doctor and they're just looking at their laptop while asking you
Well,
questions.
if they're just looking at your laptop and not you, medyo problema yun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
different.
But, today's episode is gonna be a bit weird eh. We're gonna
Why?
we're gonna be talking about something that we're not used to.
Peace.
Peace! Exactly!
I knew it.
Kasi may guest tayo today from the Peace Corps.
Yes,
right?
that's right.
The US Peace Corps. And of course, apart from that, we also have to talk about food later on today.
Yes, we have a chef via Zoom
Via Zoom.
today, so I'm so excited because it is Filipino Food Month. I
Yes.
hope we have food coming.
Via
Yeah.
Zoom eh.
Yeah. Maybe our
But
project
you know
is
what?
giving us food.
Since the whole month of April is National Food Month, maybe we
So
can
kain
have
tayo
like,
every day.
Every week we should have like one day where there's
Okay, you're in charge of
food.
that.
Pwede rin.
Okay, and go. That's all you.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. She diets too much to give us food. Eh.
Oh yeah, she
Diet
didn't-
food.
We
Put it
didn't
here.
even eat on her birthday last week.
That is true.
She bought so much food, and I said, "Hold on, you didn't eat."
I
We're the
didn't.
ones
I
who-
did. I ate chicken.
Yeah, you didn't even eat the cake we got you.
I did, huh?
No, you didn't.
Because you left early. Di ba, Pao, I ate.
So
anyway, tapos
ladies and
na yun,
gentlemen,
guys.
like what we were saying, hindi po kami sanay sa peace. Kaya
No,
mamaya,
we're not.
interesting peace talk.
We're always like arguing and arguing.
Interesting
Oh
yung
my
peace
goodness.
talk natin. But let's talk about something that we can't argue about, which is the traffic, unfortunately.
I know. Let's go check out the roads and major thoroughfares this Thursday. Guys, here is the situation along EDSA, Quezon Avenue flyover. On the left side of your screens are vehicles going to Quiapo. Moderate traffic already building up on that stretch. On the right side are vehicles headed to Quezon Memorial Circle. As you can see, light traffic this morning. Now let's take a look at EDSA White Plains this time. On the left side of your screens is the southbound lane going to Shaw Boulevard. Going to be slowing things down a bit as moderate traffic is building up on that lane. On the opposite side, northbound lane going to Cubao, no problem yet as of this time. Now the expanded vehicle number coding scheme is in full swing. It's a Thursday, so vehicles with license plates ending in 7 and 8 should be off the road right now until 10 a.m. and again later from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Now let's find out what the weather is going to be like on this Thursday. Paolo has something up his sleeve today from Weather HQ. Pao, where are you?
Well, I'm not in front of the green screen. It's not that I have something up my sleeve. It's more of may konting technical error tayo. Pero okay lang yan. Let's tell you more about the weather anyway because currently there are two weather systems that are affecting the country. Unang-una, ang northeasterly surface wind. Now, this is impacting the northern Luzon area. The second is the easterlies affecting the rest of the country. Now, in northern Luzon, the northeasterly surface winds will bring cloudy skies with rain to Cagayan Valley, Apayao, Kalinga, Mountain Province, Ifugao, and Aurora. The system will also cause partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rains in the Ilocos region and the rest of Cordillera Administrative Region. For Metro Manila and the rest of the country, the easterlies will result in partly cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. Now, iba na yung setup natin. Ito, laki ng LED ko. Pero tignan muna natin ang heat index forecast coming from Pag-asa. Now, currently, there are 3 areas that are experiencing heat, which places them under the danger zone. These places are Iba, Zambales, and Vera, Catanduanes. Now, these are leading in terms of intense heat with a forecasted heat index of 43 degrees Celsius. So these are the 2 areas in particular. Now, other areas experiencing intense heat with a heat index of 41 degrees Celsius that fall under extreme caution include Cuyo, Palawan, Pilica, Camarines Sur, Iloilo City, Dumangas, Iloilo, Zamboanga City, Cotabato City, Maguindanao, Hinatuan, Surigao del Sur, and Butuan City. Now, additional locations under extreme caution with a heat index of 4 degrees Celsius include Lawag City, Taguban City, Bacnotan, La Union, Hacienda Luisita, Tarlac, Sandy Point, Cavite, Coron, Palawan, San Jose, Occidental Mindoro, Puerto Princesa City in Palawan, Daet, Camarines Norte, La Granja, and La Carlota in Negros Occidental, Catarman in Northern Samar, Masbate City, Davao City, Dipolog, Zamboanga del Norte. Now, given these extreme heat conditions, it is important to take the necessary precautions, stay hydrated, avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight, and wear light and loose clothing. Now, if you are outdoors, take regular breaks in shaded and cool areas. Listen to your body. If you feel dizzy, nauseous, or unwell, seek shelter and cool off immediately. Stay safe and alert during these extreme weather conditions. Now let's take a look at the sea conditions around the Philippines. There are no gale warnings around, so that means that fishermen and mariners can safely head out to sea without much worry. However, it's important to stay alert and keep track of any weather updates or advisories that may be issued. Weather conditions can rapidly change, so make sure that you prioritize safety and always be prepared. Now that's it for Weather HQ at the moment. Back to you, girls.
Thank you, Pao. Heading now to our national news. Russian YouTuber Vitaly Zdorovetsky arrested after harassing a mall-goer and security guards in BGC. In a viral video, the Russian YouTuber was seen threatening to rob a woman passing by. In the next clip, he was also seen mocking 2 mall security guards. Authorities say Zdorovetsky is already for inquest and that the officers of BGC are coordinating with the investigation. PNP reminds content creators to be mindful with their vlogs and live streams.
The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission denies harassing Chinese or any nationality they arrest during operations against Pogo. PAOK spokesperson Winston Casio tells BNC's On Point they also do not target Chinese nationals, but admits that among their 947 detainees, they comprise the biggest number of foreign nationals arrested. Casio adds they follow the procedure particularly in getting clearance from the National Bureau of Investigation before detainees are deported.
We have 600 plus Chinese nationals in detention here in PAOK. Ang layo nung second group of nationalities, which would be Vietnamese, nasa less than 120 lamang sila. Then Indonesians, less than 100. So talaga nagkataon na yung Chinese ang karamihan.
President Bongbong Marcos is calling for improved preparations in anticipation of the big one. This comes after the killer quake that shook Myanmar and Thailand. The Public Works and Highways Department says it is prioritizing structural strengthening, especially for public buildings, while the Office of Civil Defense is carrying out simulation drills and training government personnel on the use of communication devices.
We've already completed more than, I think, 124 assessment and retrofitted mga public buildings in Metro Manila. Meron na rin po kami nakaprogramang 500 plus public buildings na funded po ng aming local fund and ODA.
VP Sara Duterte is feeling blessed after a 3-hour visit with her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, at the International Criminal Court, talking about life and family. She says this was the longest talk between them and thanks President Bongbong Marcos for the strength their relationship has developed.
This really is ironic, but I have to thank Bongbong Marcos because there was forgiveness between me and PRD for all that has happened in our lives.
With the VP set to return to the Philippines, she is coordinating with her siblings, Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte, Representative Paolo Duterte, and Kitty Duterte on visiting days for the former president.
VP Sara unbothered with the new list of alleged fake recipients of the Office of the Vice President's confidential funds. She believes the new uncovered evidence does not hold weight in her impeachment case.
Biyaan na natin sila sa kanilang guni-guni. It doesn't have to be yung paniniwala nila ay paniniwala din ng buong bayan. Paniniwala lang nila yun.
Meanwhile, the House prosecution team is still steadfast in preparing for each article of impeachment.
It's not an easy balance between an election and preparation, but we are doing our best since this impeachment involves national interest. It involves the second highest official of the country. So we will prepare very well.
Authorities in Batangas say unattended cooking may have caused a massive grass fire in a huge part of the volcano island. In a BNC exclusive, authorities explain fishermen at rest or sea travelers may have left their cookware and fuel, which led to the wildfire. The Bureau of Fire Protection also says similar incidents have happened in the past. It adds fishermen and caretakers of the fish cage still go to the volcano island, despite the place being off limits. No victims or casualties were reported from the blaze.
COMELEC Chairman George Garcia has given out the first voter information sheets, or VIS, meant to replace sample ballots. The VIS is a 4-page pamphlet serving as an instruction manual for voters. Each one is customized to the specific voter, showing them which precinct to vote at and their precinct number. In case you can't claim your VIS, simply go to COMELEC Online's Precinct Finder, type in your name and your birthday, and the finder will show you your polling info.
Ultra-billionario Manny Villar leads 15 Filipino tycoons who have made it to the Forbes list of world's richest people. Villar, ranked 117th globally with a net worth of $17.2 billion as of April 1st, makes him the wealthiest Filipino this year. A big jump from 2024, when he placed third amongst the local billionaires. The former senator and one-time presidential candidate is the chairman of property giant Vistaland and Lifescapes, with his biggest asset being his stake in Golden MV Holdings. Other Filipino ultra-billionarios on the Forbes list include Enrique Razon, Ramon Ang, Lucio Tan, and the C siblings of the SM Group.
Now in world news, a survivor was miraculously pulled out alive from beneath a collapsed hotel in central Myanmar's disaster-hit Mandalay City on Wednesday. Footage from the site showed rescuers clearing debris from a narrow opening to access the victim, who had spent days trapped in the rubble. This comes 5 days after a devastating 7.9 magnitude quake that rocked the country. Authorities say rescue operations to retrieve possible survivors stay round the clock. State media reports the death toll from the quake rose close to 2,900 on Wednesday.
Amid all his controversial policies, you may have a lot to say about U.S. President Donald Trump. But can you speak about them for more than 25 hours? That's exactly what Democrat Senator Cory Booker did in a historic protest on the Senate floor. He now holds the record for the longest speech in Senate history, topping the previous feat of Republican Senator Strom Thurmond, who spoke for 24 hours and 18 minutes in 1957. Booker used the marathon speech to warn that America is in crisis.
In just 71 days, the President of the United States has inflicted so much harm on Americans' safety, financial stability, the core foundations of our democracy, and even our aspirations as a people from our highest offices, a sense of common decency. These are not normal times in America. And they should not be treated as such. Speaking out, the threats to American people and American democracy are grave and urgent, and we all must do more.
A family in Washington, D.C. got the surprise of a lifetime thanks to a very special photo bomber. Portia Moore shared photos on her Instagram account showing former U.S. President Barack Obama crashing her kids' photo shoot. Moore calls the picture a family heirloom and a story to remember for the ages. She added they did not bother the former president during his stroll. The viral post has received over 52,000 likes on IG. Obama even left a comment. He said, quote, "Preston and Belle, I hope you enjoyed peak bloom. My bad for stepping into the shot."
Moving on to sports, PBA superstars Junmar Fajardo and Scotty Thompson are set to join an elite list in the Philippine Basketball Association. Junmar and Scotty headline the latest additions to the PBA's 50 Greatest Players list. Among the newest inductees include the Bull, Nelson Asaitono, the Jet, Jeff Carriazo, Bong Hawkins, Abe King, Danny Siegel, Manny Victorino, Yoyoy Villamin, and the late Arnie Tuadles. This comes as the PBA celebrates its 50th anniversary this year. The PBA's 50 Greatest Players will be honored on April 11. Moving on to the UAP, the De La Salle Lady Spikers dominate the Ateneo Blue Eagles again in round 2 of the women's volleyball tournament in season 87. The girls from Taft Avenue swept the Blue Eagles Wednesday at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. Angel Canino was on point, top of her game after a brief health scare, leading La Salle with 16 points. The Lady Spikers are second in the team standings with a 7-3 win-loss slate. In the next game, the USC Golden Tigresses staged a great escape against the Adamson Lady Falcons in 5 sets. The Golden Tigresses survived a 36-point outing from Adamson super rookie Shaina Nitura. UST is in 4th place at 6-4, while Adamson is second to the last with 3-7. Now in the NBA, Steph Curry cooked up another masterpiece yet again as the race to the playoffs heats up. The Golden State Warriors main man showcased his brilliance once more as the Dubs beat the Memphis Grizzlies on Wednesday 134-125. Curry filled the stat sheet with a monster game of 52 points after knocking down 12 of his 20 triples. The Chef also had 10 rebounds and 8 assists, as well as 5 steals. The Warriors are on a 3-game win streak, and they are 5th in the West. The Grizz are right behind them at number 6. Now, in another game, the Minnesota Timberwolves have won their 3rd straight game at the expense of Denver Nuggets in a close overtime game, 140-139. The T-Wolves also spoiled a 61-point triple-double outing from Nikola Jokic. Minnesota is 7th in the West, while Denver is at 3rd.
Sad news in entertainment. Hollywood icon Val Kilmer has died at the age of 65. He died in Los Angeles, reportedly from pneumonia. Kilmer made his film debut in 1984 in the spy spoof Top Secret. He then skyrocketed to fame playing Iceman in the 1986 smash hit Top Gun, starring Tom Cruise. Kilmer was also known for his roles in Batman Forever and as a rock legend, Jim Morrison, in the 1991 film The Doors.
Val Kilmer passing, obviously terrible. I remember watching Top Secret, actually. That was one of my favorite movies growing up.
Okay.
And, of course, Top Gun,
I know him
Iceman.
from Top Gun.
Yeah.
The line at the end, I think, is one of the more iconic ones in cinema history, at least at that point. You can be my wingman anytime. Yeah, so that was pretty good. I mean, again, I can't wait to marathon his movies after. And just, relive a bit of his. Because I remember he was really sick in the latest Top Gun.
Yes,
when he came in
I
as
actually
if he had
got
throat
teary-eyed
cancer.
there in that scene, and he couldn't talk anymore. He
was typing,
yes,
right?
He was just
So,
typing.
yeah,
So
his
that
character
was
had throat
so
cancer.
emotional.
And
But at least
gets
he
it
made
up.
the
Yeah.
cameo. He still made it.
Yeah,
He
he did.
wanted to. I read an
Yeah.
article
He
that
really
he
wanted
really
to.
wanted to appear in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, condolences to all the Val Kilmer fans out there, and of course his family, and of course, check out his movies. Watch Top Secrets if you guys can, because that is another level of spoof comedy that isn't done anymore today.
Now on to the lighter side of the news. Let's take a look at the local music scene. The Eraserheads are all set for their comeback on the big stage next month. The OPM Fab 4 revealed the lineup for its Electric Fun Music Festival. Featured acts include the Itchy Worms, Pinoy rock icons Basti Artadi and Dong Abay, Imago, Moonstar 88, and the returning all-woman rock band General Luna. The EHEADS Music Festival happens on May 31st in Parañaque City. The event was announced on the band's documentary, Combo on the Run.
A new Karate Kid movie is heading to cinemas this year. Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan are back in the game as they guide a prodigious new apprentice in the latest installment of the hit martial arts franchise. Here's a look at Karate Kid Legends.
Type yun ni Anne dati, si Ralph Macchio.
I thought walang banter.
Ain't no shame in it. I can't remember my exact age when the first Karate Kid movie came out, but yeah.
Was it an 80s movie or 70s?
80s,
right?
yeah,
movie.
80s.
I mean, Ralph Macchio is good
so
looking.
cute. Until now, he looks okay.
Yeah, dito sa Pilipinas,
For
Ralph
daddy.
Macchio siya.
Macho.
That's why he wanted the banter. He wanted to say his dad joke. Well, you know what? Moving on. Let's move on. Something we don't have here in the show, like Paolo said, which is peace. Because up ahead, hear the story of a U.S. Peace Corps volunteer helping out in disaster risk reduction at a local government unit here in the Philippines. That conversation after the break. Don't go away. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
That's right, Doc.
Welcome back. You're still watching. It's a beautiful day. The United States Peace Corps volunteers work with local communities in areas such as health, agriculture, special education, and development planning. Now, this morning, we take a look at what goes behind such partnership, specifically in the area of disaster preparedness. Joining us this morning, Julian Grifee, Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Program Officer with the U.S. Peace Corps, and Bryant Wong, Chief of Pasig City DRRMO. Hi, guys. It's a beautiful day. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, I'm excited to talk about this because this is something, like I mentioned, we don't have in the show. Peace. So can you please clarify to my partner Paolo over here and to our viewers, because this is just a U.S. thing, what actually is the Peace Corps and what do you guys do? And why are you here? Because I understand you're from the U.S.
Yep.
Yes.
Indeed.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm part of the U.S. Peace Corps. It was established by John F. Kennedy back in 1961. We have gone to numerous countries around the world since 1961. Currently, I believe we're at over 60 posts around the world. The Philippines, from my understanding, is the second oldest post in the world. We've had thousands of volunteers serve here in this particular country. This is actually my second assignment. So I did urban planning for 2.5 years in Albania in Southeast Europe back in 2016 to 2018. So I'm here on a shorter assignment with Pasig City DRRMO for 7 months.
Well, of course, when you talk about the Peace Corps, they also work a lot with the, well, at least here in the Philippines, the local government units. At Sir Bryant, when you talk about yung partnership ninyo with the Peace Corps, typically, ano yung mga focus po ninyo?
So, what we focus, syempre, ang disaster management. So, Julian is here to help us sa disaster management as an urban planner. So, it's like they give us recommendation, new ideas, and syempre, we want to learn from them, and they also want to learn from us. So, two sides, ano naman yun, bigayan lang.
Now, Julian, it's so interesting to me that you were in Albania before this, and you've been to over 50 countries, correct?
Yeah, I've been around the block a little bit.
Wow, just a little bit. So what inspired you to lead this kind of life?
I would probably attest it honestly. So I'm half American, half Visayan. My mom is from Cebu, and then my dad was in the military. So I think just that upbringing, a blending of different places that I've heard stories from them about, I actually academically urban planning and geography. So when we went to school together in the States, which is wild to see 12 years later,
I know.
this is my classmate from
Yeah,
12
by
years
the
ago.
way, guys, we literally went to school together in North Carolina. We sound alike.
So we met back in 2013. That's when I was majoring in geography. I've just always been infatuated with other cultures, development, city planning, and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, on that note, obviously the big news that we're still discussing when it comes to disaster risk reduction in particular, it's still Myanmar and Thailand. And the Philippines is very famously known for, at least the Metro Manila area, for the West Valley Fault that runs through Metro Manila that we're all concerned with even until now. Has your conversations with the Pasig LGU actually revolved around that? How has the latest development over in our ASEAN neighbors affected your discussions that you've had with Pasig?
Yeah, absolutely. So back on the side of the states where I grew up, we're more frequented by typhoons and baguios, so that's basically been more so of my expertise.
Yeah.
Of course, naturally, conversations have gone through just disaster preparedness in general.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've been focusing on is an early warning system specifically for bagios, but pertaining to actual earthquakes, I'm sure Sir Bry has a little bit more commentary about that fault line.
So sir, kung ganon nga, your partnership typically involves yung mga, sa mga bagyo, sa mga storms and floods, but then has that evolved as well in terms of yung disaster preparedness for mga earthquake, especially considering yung discussion right now about the quote-unquote big one?
First, yung sa Myanmar and Bangkok, honestly, the city of Pasig has coordinated with the national and DRRMC on sending our personnel or rescue people there to Thailand and Myanmar.
Okay.
So nag-commit muna kami, like the one happened in Turkey before. So why? Because we want to benchmark. First, we want to help. Second, we want to benchmark. Kasi learning yun eh. So you experience actual operations during that time. So that's one. Second is yung plano, mga plans. So we have DRM plans, we have contingency plan for earthquake. So that's also what Julian did in our city. Ginawa niya na nireview niya yung mga BDRM plan, barangay DRRM plans in our city. So chinek niya din yan kung ano yung mga how to capacitate in preparation for the big one. And ang Pasig naman is matagal, and other cities are preparing for the big one matagal na. So sobrang tagal na nun. Pero yun nga, we won't ever know kung kailan siya dadating.
Yeah.
So what we're doing right now is we keep on pushing for new innovations, new trainings, new plans or updated plans, and syempre we want to learn from other countries like US. We benchmark from them.
Yeah, Julian, how are you learning from all of this? Because I don't think there are a lot of countries around the world. Now, you've been to 50, so you can correct me.
52, but
52, 52, sorry, if we're being specific. All right, but when you look at the disaster preparedness that we're trying to anticipate here, sending rescue workers overseas to actually get real-world experience, planning for an earthquake. I don't think a lot of countries in general anticipate earthquake of this scale on a regular basis. What are your own personal learnings from this experience so far when it comes to disaster preparedness that you feel could be exported in a future post as well?
And that's one of the pillars of Peace Corps in general. So there's three pillars of Peace Corps, if I could go back to it really fast, is the sharing of the expertise. The expertise that I can bring, and then certainly that they can shed light to me, as well as exchanging American culture, and then ultimately exchanging the Filipino culture that I have since more so recently found out. Again, it is sharing that expertise. We can certainly learn from each other about what y'all do here versus what we do back in the U.S., and that exchange is imperative, I think, to just development and understanding in general. The first week I think I got here, there was Typhoon Christine, and so to see the icy, that was
Actual operation.
Yeah, my room flooded. It was great. Yeah, I know, right? Like it was fabulous. So seeing the ICP, the Incident Command Post, get established, it was right down my hallway. Seeing those operations in motion, it was very interesting to see, and the operations are so exquisite, and there's a lot of communication. There's a lot of things to go in, and that's something that I've witnessed it in the U.S., but I work for smaller municipalities back home, so it's interesting to have so many people in the same room just exchanging all this information, the Philippine National Army, the education sector, all the stuff. So that's stuff, and that's expertise and knowledge I can take back to be like, hey, these are new ideas, or these are some things that they did that certainly we could probably bring back to the States and learn from y'all. So.
And it's interesting now that we're talking about the shared ideas. You talked about it earlier. You brought an idea from Wilmington, North Carolina, where you're from, which, if people don't know, that is the beach, the coastal areas. So you brought what the basically what the lifeguards do there with the flags, the flag system here to warn the Filipino people about oncoming typhoons. So can you talk more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's been shared on some of the photos that I brought. I wish I had brought the flags, but we pass them out to the barangays. So the flags have already been passed out to 5 pilot barangays. Back in the U.S., we do deal with hurricanes or typhoons. We have a less exquisite and developed set of warning flags. It's pretty generic. You have a severe, you have a tropical storm, or you have a hurricane. You have one flag for a storm, and then you have for a hurricane 2 flags. It's very simple. What we did here is we took PAGASA, so the Filipino Atmospheric Geophysical Astronomical Services Administration. They have tropical cyclone signals warnings 1 through 5. Different colors, different logos, and there's the example of it right up there.
There's signal number 3, yellow.
Yes. So what Sir Bryant had mentioned earlier is going through each of these barangay DRRMO plans, several of them wanted to have an early warning system, an EWS, for people with disabilities, for PWDs. The early warning systems, to my knowledge, that Pasig has is going to be the river gauges, and then it also has a PA system.
Right.
The PA system is not feasible, and it's not lucrative for someone if they're hard of hearing or they're deaf, or if it's compromised, if the PA system's damaged. What these flag systems will do is taking the national standard of 1 through 5, and when they're flown, any of us can go.
So visual.
Visual. It's a visual one. It's manpower driven. It's not dependent on electricity. It's not dependent on wiring. If the PA system is damaged, you just have these flags, and you'll be able to visually know, oh, that one's orange. That's tropical cyclone signal number 3. Within 24 hours, I expect those type of winds to be here. So it's a very established system. It's much more in-depth compared to the U.S., which I love. Like, that's awesome, because our 1 through 5, it's a similar scale, but it's not as, I don't think it's as knowledgeable as PAGASA's system. So we've basically taken it and put it into an EWS for PWDs.
Sir Bryant, when you, if I'm not mistaken, 5 barangays in pilot test in terms of this. Is there plans already to expand it? And of course, how's the reception been, yung effectivity niya in your early stages right now?
Out of the 5 barangays, tuwan-tuwa yung mga barangay chairperson. So like Cap Kin and Cap Gab, right? They nag-signify kaagad na we want more. So
You want more flags?
yeah, we want more flags.
Okay.
We want more flags kasi nga they have big barangays, and definitely our target is to replicate this also to the other 25 barangays. So in Pasig there are 30 barangays. So what we're planning to do with EWS is to replicate this one to all the barangays, not only to that 5, and to add more flags.
Well, napaka-simple, sir, when you take a look at the concept, just a visual benchmark of the whatever signals or whatever warning that needs to be done. Sa palagay niyo po, do you feel that, at least based on your early implementation, that there actually needs to be, that this is actually a more effective way of disseminating information and for your early warning based on the early returns, sir?
In Pasig kasi we're always innovating.
Yeah.
So we're always looking for some innovations na pwede nating gayahin, gawin, at i-implement sa Pasig. Meron tayong high-tech, meron tayong hindi kailangan ng power, which is ito nga, flag. So nakita namin, parang sinabi sa amin ni Julian na try natin tong EWS na to. In English, in English.
Yeah. No, I did not do that in Tagalog.
So try natin to. So kami naman, syempre, innovations. He reviewed the DRRMO plans, parang ito, kailangan nga ito, EWS. Kulang nga yung mga post-painting, kulang nga yung mga PA system natin, kulang nga yung mga rain gauges, water level sensors natin. So, let's try. Malay natin, diba? In the future, ito na yung gayahin ng other LGUs, diba? Na flag markers or flag as EWS.
Yeah.
In other LGUs.
Yeah, because no one has a monopoly on good ideas.
Right. Now, I want to ask you a personal question.
Oh, here we go.
How has it been like assimilating here in the Philippines? Because I know, like right now, with the Taglish going on, I know you're not really following.
Yeah.
So how has it been like?
I know you too, Mo.
yeah. Just pretend like I know.
I just stare and I
you know?
smile like, yeah.
Exactly.
They're like, do you know what you just asked? No? Oh, okay.
Context
Perfect.
clues.
Yeah, exactly. So I have visited the Philippines a couple different times. Again, my mom is very Filipina. She moved to the States when she was 38, and she's still a citizen of the Philippines and not an American. So I'm pretty familiar with Filipino culture. At least I thought I was.
Yeah.
And then you get here, it's different.
Yeah, and then I get here, and like very much like Filipino time is very much a thing. This and that. Riding my first jeepneys by myself. It's very interesting. It's very hands-on. I love it. It's exhilarating. It's fun. The times I would visit the Philippines was always in Cebu. So, and we would get shepherded into the vans. We all have to go together to go to SM and this and that.
Yeah.
And so now I'm living in the big city, and they're like, "Ay, are you gonna be okay in Manila?" I was like, "I think so. I think I'll be fine." Like,
So, okay ba siya? Like, is he doing okay?
Okay siya. As in, she works with our staff and personal. Hindi siya workmate lang eh. Kaibigan siya as a friend.
Right.
So, na-develop niya yun with our staff na naging friend niya, kasama niya kumain, kasama niya mag-jogging.
Yeah.
You understand that, right?
Yeah, okay. That's
Smile
good
with
enough.
credit, yeah,
He
yeah.
just said you're a friend.
Perfect.
Or
Good to know.
Perfect
Are you?
friend.
I'll take that.
Well, you know what, guys? It was such a fun conversation, and I hope that you guys enjoyed your time here at the
Absolutely.
Billionaire Studio. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
this
you.
morning.
You.
We
Someone
really
else.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Julian, go ahead and say salamat.
I'll sell my Paul.
Pwede na.
That's cute. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I sound like pala. That was Julian Grifee, Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Program Officer with the U.S. Peace Corps, and Bryant Wong, Chief of Pasig City DRRMO. Salamat, guys.
Thank you.
Stop it.
Let me live. Well, also coming up, we have something exciting and something that's going to make me hungry, because a chef turns up his advocacy of Filipino cuisine by releasing a new cookbook. We'll speak to Chef Jam Melchor live after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. April is Filipino Food Month, and our guest today is on a mission to champion Filipino cuisine both here and around the world. He also just released a new cookbook that celebrates our country's rich culinary traditions, featuring recipes from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Joining us via Zoom is Chef Jam Melchor. It's a beautiful day, Chef Jam. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. It's nice to be here.
Chef, you know what? I want to start the interview with a mise en place of sorts. Let's start with how everything began for you. What inspired you to embark on a culinary career? And while you were growing up, who were the people you looked up to, and these idols that steered you to this path?
Well, I grew up in Pampanga, a place known for its culinary excellence. And growing up, I've always knew that I am really into food. My great-grandfather used to work for the Americans at the Clark Air Base for time here in the Philippines. And I have been watching like Sandy Daza and other cooking shows in the 90s.
Yes.
So growing up, I was really into cooking and into food.
Alam mo, Chef, I'm looking at your body of work here. At unang-unang congratulations on the new cookbook. Of course, it's so nice that your dad was cooking for the sa Clark, or at least in that area, and you used to be part of the U.S. Embassy, in the sense that a private chef ka para sa Ambassador Mary Kay Carlson, if I'm not mistaken, at ibang high-ranking diplomats. Para sa'yo ba naging full circle moment yon, considering yung history ng pamilya mo, and then of course being able to cook for the American ambassador as well?
Definitely. Alam mo, it was a challenging and exciting time para sa akin during my time at the U.S. Embassy, kasi it was it was really a defining moment in my career, lalo na whenever we host this different diplomatic events. And the most challenging part is basically how to showcase our food, lalo na whenever there is a foreign diplomat na talagang dumarating just to visit the Philippines.
Now, Chef, as a fellow Kapampangan, I know you're Kapampangan, so of course your food's gonna be manyaman because always Kapampangan, we're very biased when it comes to our food. So with that being said, has your Kapampangan background, has it helped shape how you cook now, especially with different regions' foods?
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, as a Kapampangan, it really drive my energy into, making sure that the entire Filipino cuisine, just not the Kapampangan cuisine, will definitely make its way in the global map. That's why we're having this Filipino Food Month national celebration. It is my brainchild, along with my colleagues in the Philippine Culinary Heritage Movement. And our goal is basically to promote the entire cuisine, not just Kapampangan cuisine.
Now, Chef Jam, you are also an educator. You conduct food education workshops and activities, particularly in schools. Now, what key lessons do you emphasize to young Pinoys about preserving and innovating Filipino culinary traditions?
Well, I always say this to my students that patience is the key, and we need to be consistent in everything that we do, because if you're not consistent, even if there's so much energy and there's so much passion, you won't go anywhere. I mean, you have to be consistent and patient.
Well, you mentioned slow, and if I'm not mistaken, you're an advocate for the slow food movement. And when people talk about yung slow food movement ngayon, it feels like the total opposite of fast food. So could you explain to us kung ano nga ba ang slow food movement, which you are an advocate for as well?
Well, the slow food movement is all about traceability, knowing your food comes from. So we live with the 3 pillars: slow, good, clean, and fair. Good, which means the food has to be good for your body and good for the environment. Fair has to be fair with the farmers, fair trade, hindi mo sila binabarat. And then clean, it has to be pure, natural, with no GMOs.
Yeah. You're a food safety advocate, you advocate for slow food, you're an advocate of history as well, yung culinary heritage po natin. Kayumanggi features 150 recipes, if I'm not mistaken, and of course available for free. In fact, you can get a QR code and then you'll be able to get the entire cookbook. Para sa'yo, gaano ka-importante na buhayin natin yung heritage natin via our culinary history, especially considering that yung Filipino cuisine, sinasabi natin palagi on the cusp of breaking into the world stage but not necessarily getting there yet. Sa palagay niyo po, what would it take for Philippine cuisine to be a bit more mainstream on the world stage but at the same time retaining yung heritage po natin?
It is very important for all of us to know and understand what our food culture is all about. So, ang education, it is very important not only to other nations, to other people, but within the country also. So, I hope that this book, which will be released by the Department of Trade and Industry, will inspire people that, food is a mirror of who we are as Filipinos. And it is also important that we share knowledge and food education for free. That's why the goal of this book is basically to ensure that there's free distribution of knowledge with regards to Filipino cuisine.
Chef, you know what? I'm curious because this book has 150 recipes focusing on dishes from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Was it a challenge for you to, when you were collecting or when you were deciding which recipes to put into this cookbook, challenge ba na to trim it down to 150? Kasi I know, ang dami nating dishes, right? So many dishes from from each region na pwedeng i-highlight doon sa cookbook. Ano yung mga challenges mo trimming it down to just 150?
Well, to be honest, yes, tama ka, it is very challenging. It took me like about more than a decade just to combine all of these recipes. And when I was selecting the more than 150, kulang pa nga yung 150 plus na recipes. Kasi ang dami pang dapat isama talaga. And I was really praying sana walang magtampo na region or province because I'm hoping na magkaroon ng book to ito wherein we compile the other Philippine dishes that needs to be celebrated.
Right.
But sometimes kailangan lang talaga nating mamili para maumpisahan yung project. Otherwise, mag-aantay na naman tayo ng another decade bago to maisakatuparan.
Now, Chef, I want to piggyback on what you said earlier. You are one of the reasons why April is declared Filipino Food Month, which is one of my favorite months now because of that. So I just want to know, what have you observed from this national celebration since it started on our appreciation of our culinary heritage?
Well, when at the beginning in 2018, after the former President Duterte signed the proclamation, we were still convincing people. We were introducing what Filipino Food Month is all about. And as the years go by, even during the pandemic, talagang lahat were, excited about what's gonna happen during April. Talagang they were reaching out until nakikita ko even the farthest local government unit nag-organize na ng Filipino Food Month. Some embassies and consulates abroad are also organizing their Filipino Food Month events abroad. So, malaking bagay yon, nakakataba ng puso. And I wanted to take this opportunity to thank all of you. I mean, hindi ko man kayo mapapasalamatan, but this initiative is a gift to the nation. Kasi, just like your Linggo ng Wika, your Nutrition Month, nakamulatan na natin yan when we grow up. Every July, it's Nutrition Month. Every August, it's Linggo ng Wika. Pero hopefully, it's gonna be the same thing for Filipino Food Month. It's gonna go big and it will go down to the history na talagang dedicated na month ito for our culinary heritage.
Chef Jam, it is an exciting time right now in the local culinary scene kasi the Michelin Guide is here evaluating restaurants that it will include in its list next year. Do you think, Chef, that the Philippines is ready for that first homegrown Michelin star?
Oh, definitely. I think we've waited long enough. Ang mga chefs natin ngayon, ang gagaling nila, and the destinations, the culinary destinations, they have to check out. Kasi talagang hindi nga tayo nauna, but we have been ready. In this past few years, talagang yung mga programs and initiatives ng government natin, it's all about farm tourism, food tourism, gastro diplomacy. So I think we're more than ready. But there is still a lot of work to do. Like we have to fix the entire food system, not just the restaurants. But if we're talking about restaurants, I think we have a lot of good restaurants.
Right.
The chefs, they are all amazing, galing-galing.
Alam mo, just looking at we're showing clips right now of yung Michelin Guide and of course the fact that they're going to be here in the Philippines. Pero it won't be the first ever Filipino restaurant sa Michelin Guide. Nakita nga natin na in the United States there are a couple of Filipino restaurants there already with Michelin stars. Pero para sa iyo, I mean, like when we look overseas, there have been distinguished Filipino restaurants already. Kasama over in the United States, in particular at Tadhana as well, I believe. But when you look at that, nakaka-proud ba knowing that our cuisine is already being recognized overseas? And of course, do you feel that dito in our own home soil that maybe there isn't as much of an appreciation as there should be sa culinary heritage natin?
Well, as a staunch advocate of Filipino food, syempre talagang nakaka-proud. But definitely, hindi naman award lang ang inaantay natin or the designation or something. It is a work, a mission na talagang dapat nating pag-igihan pa because as I mentioned, even in my other interviews, yung lahat ng tao nakatingin ngayon sa Philippines because they're excited kung ano yung lalabas natin na magagandang restaurants or food brands dun sa Michelin Guide.
Now, Chef, in your opinion, what are the most underrated Filipino foods for you? Because when people think, I guess foreigners, when they think of Filipino food, what comes to mind is lumpia, adobo, and ube. So apart from those three, what can you recommend that's underrated?
Well, I mean, if I go one by one, ang dami kong masasabi. But if I may say, dapat we should promote our regional cuisine. Kasi if you go to the provinces, doon mo makikita ang totoong Filipino food. Not just your typical adobo, sinigang, lumpia, sisig. Kailangan pumunta ka sa mga regions, sa mga palengke. Every time I visit a new place, ang una kong pinupuntahan is palengke so that I would understand their food culture, their food ways, and the ingredients that they use. Doon mo talaga makikita.
Oh, Chef, please take me to the Palenque with you because I would love to go on a food trip.
Yes, Chef. Congratulations again on your cookbook, Yumanggi. Beyond that, what's next for you? And if we want to see you in person, where can we find you next?
Well, April, again, is Filipino Food Month. We have a lot of activities all over the country and even in other countries such as the US and in Europe. So I'm hoping to see all of you in one of these events, and please do follow the pages of Filipino Food Month and Philippine Culinary Heritage Movement, and please engage if you are really interested in preserving and promoting Filipino food. Please join us in our mission.
Just out of curiosity, si President Bongbong Marcos did veto about Pampanga being declared as a Philippine culinary capital. And I'm sure maraming reactions po yan. I'm sure you have your own reaction when it comes to that. But then you talked about how the different regions have different stars as well in terms of Filipino food, especially if you go down Mindanao. Talagang ibang-iba ang culinary taste nila. When you heard this news, first and foremost, ano po yung reaction mo? And of course, what do you feel about the discussion happening around that as well?
So, this is my personal opinion, and I hope that marinig ito, and it's the first time that I'm gonna talk about it in national air, national TV. I think this is the prerogative of the president, and talagang karapatan niya yan na mag-veto ng mga batas na pinaniniwalaan niya na hindi talaga okay pa or hindi pa na fine-tune. But I think yung culinary capital na designation, hindi naman hiningi ng Pampanga yan eh. It was already given like years ago. Hindi pa tayo tao lahat. It was already a fact na alam nila na masarap magluto ang mga taga Pampanga at sobrang passionate sila pag pinag-uusapan yung pagkain. The only reason why I think they, wanted to solidify that title is to, basically celebrate the Filipino food in general and, inspire other regions to strengthen their culinary heritage as well. Not for anything, talagang mga Kapampangan, maalab lang pagdating sa sining, sa kultura, at lalo na pag pinag-usapan ng pagkain.
We can feel your passion from across the screen, Chef. Maraming salamat, especially for that opinion. It is a hot topic, and I'm sure we haven't heard the last of it. But then I think no one will ever deny na kapag pumunta tayong Pampanga, the food there is really a different level. Maraming salamat, Chef. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on your cookbook again. We cannot wait to get our hands on it and, of course, try out some of the 150 dishes that you have curated for us. Maraming salamat, Chef. Now, we've got more stories for you, plus our horoscope of the day with Master Hans Kua after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. This is the Weather HQ segment where we talk about the global weather. Let's take a look at what's happening in Europe, where torrential rain hit the Greek island of Paros on Monday, causing extensive damage to the capital, Naousa, now as shown in drone footage. On Tuesday, heavy machinery was seen clearing mud, and authorities worked to remove vehicles stuck in floodwaters. The severe weather continued into Tuesday morning, affecting nearby Mykonos with hail and prompting civil protection authorities to close schools across several islands, including Syros, Simi, Kaliminos, and Kos. Greece has faced frequent flooding in recent years, with scientists linking the extreme weather to rising global temperatures and warming oceans. Moving on to Asia, as the spring breeze sweeps across China, outdoor sports activities are seeing a surge in popularity, resulting in an increase in consumer spending in this sector. With the warmer weather, more people are heading outdoors, fueling a growing demand for sports equipment, apparel, and recreational activities. Outdoor product sales have risen by 23.9% this spring, with notable increases in sportswear, leisure items, and sun protection gear. This trend is not only benefiting local businesses, but also showing a shift towards a healthier, more active lifestyle across the country. Mont Saint-Michel Abbey, one of France's most visited landmarks, attracts over 2 million tourists annually. Founded in 966, its Gothic architecture took shape in the 13th century after becoming a World Heritage Site in the 1980s. Tourism grew rapidly. Visitors can reach the Abbey by bridge and, when the tide allows, walk on the sand or even kayak. On a cloudy day, the Abbey's dramatic silhouette against the misty sky adds to its mystical charm. The bay, shared by Normandy and Brittany, has Europe's highest tides, and when the tide exceeds 110, the Abbey becomes an island for several hours. Well, that's the global weather. Let's turn it back to the girls here and take it away.
Thank you, Pao. Now, what do the stars have in store for us today? Eto na! Let's find out from our resident energizer and feng shui master, Hans Kua, in our horoscope of the day. Take it away, Master Hans!
Good morning! It's a beautiful day with me, Master Hans Kua. Ito po ang horoscope for the day, Thursday, April 3. Para sa mapinanganak ng Year of the Rat, tayo din ha pag may time. Kahit light exercise, ox na yan. Yellow at 6. Year of the Ox naman tayo mag-aral ng bagong skills na makakatulong sa trabaho. Green at 1. Kay Tiger naman ha, stress, repeat after me. Inhale, exhale, at relax. Smile, red at 4. Kay Rabbit naman tayo, ang pagtitipid ngayon ay magbibigay ng kasiguraduhan bukas. Blue at 5. Kay Year of the Dragon naman tayo, kung single ka pa, mag-focus muna sa sarili. Darating din ang tamang tao. Pink at 7. Kay Year of the Snake naman tayo, maganda ang darating na balita. Huwag sayangin ang opportunity. Purple at 8. Ito na! Kay of the Horsey, ang pagiging matipid ay magdadala ng seguridad. Orange at 2. Kay Ship naman tayo, may paparating na recognition. Huwag kalimutan magpasalamat. Thank you po. Gold at 9. Kay Year of the Monkey naman tayo, maghanap ng sideline para dagdag kita. Silver at 6. Kay Rooster naman tayo, panatilihin balanse ang lifestyle upang hindi ma-burnout. Yellow at 1. Kay Dog naman tayo, mag-focus sa pagbuo ng emergency funds para mas ligtas ang kinabukasan. Red at 3. Kay Year of the Pig naman tayo, sa mga one-day billionaire dyan huwag masyado mag-online shopping. Mag-focus tayo sa pagtitipid sa mga savings din, ha? Blue at 6. Ako po, si Master Hans Kua, paalala lang ito po'y patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nasa sa pagsisimula ng pagiging totoo mo. Abangan ang horoscope for the day dito lang po sa It's a Beautiful Day!
Thank you so much, Master Hans Kua. May recognition daw akong makukuha. I love the horoscope today. It's so animated. Like Master, inhale, exhale, and then tayo-tayo pag may time. I like it. Ikaw sabi magtipid ka daw. Matipid siya sa response niya, guys.
Animated eh.
We're just gonna let Anne take this.
But of course, syempre, if you're not animated after that, you'll be animated after our next segment. Kasi Love Hacks is up next.
Yes, I always love hacks.
And I think this was the topic that you were talking about yesterday. But
Oh
up
my God,
ahead,
away tayo dito
Is this the one?
Exactly, kasi wala nga peace dito sa show na to, di ba?
You
It's
guys should have
looking-
seen. Yeah, we were literally fighting off cam yesterday about this topic that Coach V is going to talk about for like an hour. So I'm excited for this.
Because, go, explain what this is.
Okay, up ahead is looking at other people considered cheating in a relationship. That conversation after the break on Love Hacks with Coach V. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Why can't men keep their eyes off other women even when in a relationship? Bakit nga ba, Pao? Coach V gives us her hot take in today's Love Hacks. Take it away, Coach V.
Love hacks, we got you. No need to be sad. Love hacks, we got you.
Good morning, loves. It's a beautiful day. Coach V here, bringing you a brand new way to level up your love life. Welcome to Love Hacks, where we provide solutions, not just opinions, to real love problems using a little sass and a whole lot of science. And today, we're talking about a woman who's married, faithful, sexy, confident, and yet still wondering, why does my husband still stare at other women? Let's hear her story. Anne?
Dapat pa rin ba ako magtiis sa asawa kong babaero? Nag-cheat na siya noon. Mag-boyfriend-girlfriend pa lang kami. And ako, pinatawad ko, hoping na magbabago. LOL. Pero nagbago naman somehow. Ang hindi lang niya mabago is yung pag nasa labas kami, especially sa mga malls, tinitignan niya yung mga babaeng, for me, ay maganda and sexy naman. I have the body din. Lalo na hanggang ngayon, may one toddler na kami, pero madami pa din nagsasabi na parang hindi ako nanganak. So, di ko alam kung bakit ganun yung mga lalaki, kasama yung mga jowa or asawa, pero ang kakapal ng mga mukha, tumingin at tumitig pa sa ibang babae. Magtiis pa rin ba ako kasi kasal na kami? Or makipaghiwalay na ako kasi hindi ko na kayang pagtiisan talaga? Hindi pa po siya nag-cheat ngayong married na kami. Ngayon lang din po ako natauhan, kaya napapost ako dito to seek opinion kung tama ba itong nafe-feel kung ayaw ko na magtiis. Hindi po ako nakaka-feel ng insecurities, believe it or not. It's just that I feel disrespected kapag kasama niya ako. Tapos, sa iba siya nakatingin.
Nako, mukhang maraming tinamaan dyan. Thank you, Anne. Is looking at staring at other women already cheating? What is your quick comments on this one?
Actually, depende nga yan eh.
If they're constantly staring at other women when you're with them, then that's the problem. But if, like, once in a while they just look at somebody, oh, like, she looks pretty, whatever, I like her body.
So it's a matter of how long the
depends.
time that they stare.
Parang natural.
Maybe.
Okay.
Kasi mahirap eh, kapag may maganda, normally you look, or even for girls, kung may guwapo, napapatingin ka. But that, I don't think that necessarily necessitates yung cheating, pero kung may follow-up yun na yun.
Or, like I said, if you're constantly doing it when your partner's around, like, say, like, Anne's my partner, we're hanging out, but she keeps, every time we're together, she's staring at somebody else.
You know that meme where this guy is with the girl?
Yeah, the famous meme.
He was looking back. Yeah.
Interesting. So it's how they look at them and probably siguro the length of the time that they're looking at them as well. You'd be surprised, love, because this stare issue really bothers more people than we think. In fact, I've had the same question coming from beautiful women, so I actually spoke about this in an event 2 years ago. Let's watch this.
Lalaki, every time they look at you, yung subconscious nila, nagkakandak na reproductive assessment test. Ibig sabihin, yung subconscious niya, nagka-calculate na. Healthy ba yung genes neto? Haba ba yung buhay neto? Nagko-compute na yan sa utak nila. And they are biologically attracted to and Coca-Cola body. You know why? Pero, oy man, this does not give you the permission to look at the women. I'm just explaining that sometimes kapag nakita nyo yung boyfriend nyo na napapalingon sa kung hindi naman sumobra ng 3 seconds, huwag nyo nang pagalitan. Kasi it's in their biology. Especially if that's a man.
Hindi naman sa pinagtatanggol natin ng mga men, but biologically, they are wired to look at some parts. But, funny but true, but the amount of time that you're looking, it matters. So, what's the science behind this? Did you know, loves, na according to neuroscience, men have 25% more visual neurons than women? Ano ibig sabihin yan? It means that they are wired to notice beauty. That's why pala napapalingon, justified. Their brain literally lights up when they see attractive traits. But here's the thing. Being wired to look is no excuse to making your partner feel small. Instincts are natural, but discipline is a choice.
Now, from the woman's side naman, syempre, let's think about what she must be feeling. A, she's not being needy. B, she's not being jealous, and she's not being insecure. She's just setting boundaries. This isn't about other women being prettier, so men, don't reduce it to women's insecurities or pit us against each other. This is about a man giving in to his urges and forgetting the woman he promised respect. Now, let's talk about what Dr. Brené Brown says, a psychologist. She said, boundaries are not walls. They are the distance at which I can love you and still be me. And right now, her boundary is being trampled by his ogling eyes. Ano ba yung ogling eyes? Ito yung parang when you look at somebody with sexual intent. So it's not just looking. May malice doon. So the question is, if a woman checks out naman a hot guy, same energy ba yon? Fair game or double standard?
Basta alam ko kung may alak, may balak eh. Kaya you can't kung if it's in a bar setting especially,
Okay.
I think that would
yeah.
that changes things.
Yes.
But at the same time rin, I think looking is not necessarily doesn't constitute the cheating. Pero I think iba pa rin kapag social media. What if you like someone's post, like yung mga thirst trap like we were talking about, diba? That, and I think you girls kanina, you agreed that would be cheating for you.
I agree. If obviously the girl that's not you is posting like a sexy bikini photo or any thirst trap, and you see that your significant other likes it, then I think that's cheating. And
Hindi
he
na siya
shouldn't be doing
biological,
that 'cause-
intentional na, no?
Exactly, because he's like, oh, look at her.
For me, it's more disrespectful. Like,
Pero hindi
you
siya
really
cheating.
have to-
Social
No,
media.
it's cheating. It's a form of cheating, but kung magagalit ako, not because I'm jealous because you cheated, but because hindi mo ako nirespeto.
But it's still
partner.
But it's still cheating.
It is still cheating, but more
Disrespectful.
like disrespect.
Yeah,
talaga.
But what about
Anne
posts that
saying.
are not thirst traps?
No, but then that's interesting. So
alright.
let's go back to what the
So,
red
so the
was
question a
kanina.
while ago is, what if it's a woman naman? Na for example, we are on a date, tapos maglalakad tayo, tapos mapapalingon ako, gwapo nung guy, tapos mapabali na yung leeg ko sa kakatingin. Like, how would you feel? Like the men in our...
Never experienced that eh.
Yeah, but what if that happens, di ba? How would you feel? Kaya nga, di ba, parang equal love, equal respect. Di ba?
Paolo kasi he's too foggy eh.
So talaga nakaganon lang sa kanyang girlfriend niya.
Naka-blinders yung
Horse
girl.
blinders, no. But,
So, di ba? But Pa, would you say that would still hurt? That would still make you feel like, ano meron doon sa guy na yon? Bakit hindi sa akin?
Well, I don't know. Ako personally, I don't think I'm jealous that way. Na kung may ganun man, but then I think it really the follow up eh. I mean like ano nga yung say nila? I mean
Like you can
just because you look at the menu, window
like,
shopping,
you're
that's
just window
better.
shopping, but you're not actually shopping. Because
Pero
I mean, I feel like men and women, we all look. If we see somebody beautiful or guapo, sometimes we're like, oh, they're pretty or they're guapo. I mean, even me, when I see pretty women, I'm like, oh, they're so pretty.
Diba? You admire them.
So that's okay.
But it's different to do ogling eyes.
But
Yeah,
the
that's
ogling
with
eyes, that's the
sexual
issue.
intent, right?
When you
And like they
mentioned
said,
how
the time.
long the stare is going to be, so I guess it all
Diba?
boils down to, wow, okay, I'm right here and you're still looking at that girl.
Kasi kung
Siguro yun.
biological, pwedeng 1 second. Maximum 3 seconds.
Oo,
Pero kung the
like
whole time,
appreciative,
up and
like an
down ka pa.
appreciative
Yeah, that's
glance.
Siguro yan yung
different.
problema yung
Yeah.
nag-post, diba? Because she was complaining about her husband looking at other
Oh,
women.
yun talaga,
Siguro yun
ogling
yung
eyes talaga yun.
duration.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
At mukhang repeated ito. So, how do you call that out? Let's give her some tips. No, so what can she do, no? Here's the love hack, my love. Don't start a war. Start a mirror moment. And this is so smart. Next time he stares too long at somebody else, diba, as a woman, huwag kang magskandalo. Just gently whisper and say, love, if I look at other guys the way you look at her, would you still be smiling? Boom! That's how you plant awareness without drama. Diba? Because love doesn't live in the eyes, it lives in the attention. And looking becomes cheating when it makes your partner feel unloved. And especially if they communicated it already that they don't love that feeling exactly. Marriage doesn't kill attraction, but love should always choose direction. Ito na ang moment of truth natin, loves. You're not crazy. And our letter sender is, or the one who posted, is not asking for too much. She's simply saying, well, if I'm the one you chose, act like I'm the one you see. And you know what? If your partner still chooses to look elsewhere, knowing it hurts you, that's no longer instinct. That's no longer biology. That's disrespect, and it's already his choice. Remember, loves, you're allowed to expect effort since you are in a relationship. You're allowed to say, that behavior makes me feel unloved as a partner. And you're allowed to leave if love becomes a competition instead of partnership. You don't leave because you stopped loving. You leave because you finally started loving yourself too. So self-respect is actually very good. And whether men stare because of biology or preferences, I would say a king who respects himself will never disrespect his queen, especially not in front of her. Now, that's it for today, loves. This is Coach V giving you real talk about real love. Got your own love dilemma? DM us na at Dating Coach V on Instagram. And let's give you not just opinions, but solutions backed by science, psychology, and a sprinkle of sass. Join me again tomorrow and have a beautiful day. Love you.
Okay, so today was not the war that we expected. Because,
It's a mild one.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
the war leading to the war.
This is just a sprinkle. Yeah, this is just an appetizer to what we were actually, yung sobrang having discussion natin kahapon.
It was an hour after the show.
Right.
But what's interesting is it's still a bit a part of it. Kasi again, the liking, the whole yung boundaries na yun, diba? And setting it. I think that's super relevant now, especially social media.
Yeah, I mean, like what we talked about, like what I asked about earlier. So if you're liking the thirst traps, obviously that's a form of cheating. But what if it's just everyday posts? What are your thoughts on your significant other liking?
It depends eh. It depends on if the partner says, I'm not comfortable with this person, pero pa like
Tapos tinuloy mo pa pala, no? Kinommunicate na. That's a really good point,
If your partner
too.
already knows that, you don't like this person, or this person makes you feel uncomfortable,
Correct.
and then your partner continues to like
And tells you,
her
oh,
posts.
she's my friend, she's my
coworker, ganon.
coworker, a lot of excuses. Interesting. So we all agree na it's listening to your partner and kind of assessing where is your partner comfortability in terms of your engagement also with the opposite gender, because it's it's fair naman with all the things that are happening with cheating and stuff. Boundaries is very important in a relationship.
Yeah, actually set the boundaries. No? Like identify the people to your partner. Ayoko dito.
Wow. Have a sit down. Okay, you need to block this, mute this.
I love this. Don't like
don't.
this. Unfollow this.
That's a lot of work.
Have you done that? Have you asked your partner to do that? Have you asked your husband to do that?
For a different reason, I guess.
Share the reason?
Oh my gosh, putting me on the spot. But anyway, he knows the people that I don't like. Not because
So, pinapa-unfollow mo?
No, I don't.
Pinapa-block.
No, I don't actually. So, pagka alam lang niya na this person, for example, oh my God, I don't want to be specific, but anyway, if this person is not good to me, parang ganon, doesn't treat me right, automatic, he will unfriend that person.
Kasi
and I never ask him to. He just I don't want to have anything to do with this person because you don't respect my wife.
Yeah,
so ganon siya.
because you are a team once you get married, diba? You, with the
exactly.
expectations you are a team. That's good. How nice
Feeling ko that
of
was a
him.
very specific question that kind of skirted the question we wanted to ask. Pero next time, for next time na yun.
Yes.
All right, so Coach V, maraming salamat. Thank you so much
My
again.
pleasure.
Another
Thank
interesting
you.
episode. And of course, that is it for us this Thursday, April 3. Ako po si Paolo del Rosario. Thank you so much for joining us here on It's a Beautiful Day. For any love problems, do message Coach V. And for any other problems, do message Anne.
I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Thank you for making us your daily morning habit. Remember to always choose joy and spread love and kindness wherever you go.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. I hope you guys have a great Thursday ahead. Join us again tomorrow. It's finally Friday tomorrow at 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Only here on
It's a Beautiful Day.